Hey there, my name's Kylie. I'm the creative director here at Spirit Adornments, and today I'm going to be telling you all about piercing bumps, and more important than that, how to fix them. Some of the most common questions we get as a piercing jewelry company are about piercing bumps. Do I have an infection? Oh my god, I have a keloid. What do I do? Well, let's clear some of that up. Step 1 is identifying the issue. Not every piercing bump is the same. And step 2 is picking out a treatment. Not every piercing is the same. Not every nose is the same. Not every ear is the same. So you may have to try a couple of different things before you get your problem solved, but something is going to solve it. So let's get into it. First kind of piercing bump is called a boil. Everyone's favorite word, right? These things happen when you bump or pull your piercing on something and bam, you have a bump on it the next day. You have a piercing that's trying to heal, and when you cause trauma to it, there's a little tiny tear that opens. And if any kind of particle, it could probably be like one particle of dust causing you to feel like your life is completely ruined. But some bacteria gets in there, and lo and behold, the next morning you got a bump. You're gonna know that it's a boil because it's gonna be red, swollen, and this is the kicker, painful. Boils are painful because it's like an irritated wound, right? So there's a couple of different options here to help this problem go away. Your first option is a sea salt soak. You're gonna wanna get some warm water and mix it with some sea salts. Try to match like the salt level of tears, and get a Q-tip and soak the area like once a day, maybe twice a day if you feel like it works really well for you. What's gonna happen is the salt is gonna draw out the foreign particles and even the pus out of your like not very cute boil that you got going on. And in a couple of days, usually, this fixes it. If you're not having any luck with that, you can try a chamomile tea bag press. Just get a regular like steeping style bag of chamomile tea and have a glass of warm water next to you. Dunk it into the glass of warm water and then soak the affected area for like 10 minutes a day. You're gonna wanna keep the tea bag warm, so that's why the water is there once every 2 minutes or so. Just dunk it back in. That way you can get the full 10-minute warm water experience on your ear. Sounds kind of like a spa treatment, right? And that should be able to help you too. My tried and true method that I always go to for my specific ears is antibacterial hand soap. Roll up to your local CVS and grab a bottle of like soft soap or Dial. I like soft soap because they have like fish on the front. Go back home, get your warm water running in your sink and get just a little bit of the soap. Rub it up in your hand, get a nice lather, and take your Q-tip, swirl it around and dab onto the affected area. Wait a minute or so, let the soap do its job. If you're wearing a ring, maybe spin it around. If you're wearing a stud, make sure to like get the entire thing clean, because part of what causes a boil is foreign debris, right? So make sure to clean the entire thing off, rinse it off with water, and then pat the area dry. And in my experience, any kind of boil that I was dealing with went away after like a day of doing that. The fourth option we can recommend is tea tree oil. Be careful with this stuff because it is astringent, and if you have really sensitive or dry skin, it can dry you out. But it's a natural antibacterial agent. So you can get like 3 or 4 ounces of water that's like a little less than half a cup. Mix it with like 1 drop of tea tree oil and put it on a Q-tip and dab it on the area. That should kill any germs that are infecting the boil and get you good to go. The second kind of bump you might be dealing with is called a hypertrophic scar. Different than a boil in a couple of different ways. It's skin colored, so it's not going to be that red irritated look that a boil has. It's hard and it doesn't hurt. It's painless. A boil is like an open irritated wound with something in it that's continuing to make it irritated, and a hypertrophic scar is a scar. So the approach to fixing these two things is very, very different. First thing you should try to do is change out your jewelry. If you're wearing something with a bend in it, like a ring or a horseshoe, change that out to a straight piece of jewelry, like a stud or a labret. And a lot of the times you think about like, when you get pierced, the needle goes in like this. When you're completely healed, you can put a curved piece of jewelry in. But there's a little bit of stress on like the ends of the piercing here and here because it doesn't match up completely. And sometimes that can cause scarring on the outside. So a lot of the times, without doing anything else, just changing out the jewelry can help that scarring go away. Secondly, and this isn't going to be what you want to hear, but you just need to be careful with your piercings. Like repeatedly catching it on towels and loofahs and things like that is going to cause repeated trauma. And what happens when you cause repeated trauma? Scar tissue. So be extra, extra careful. Massaging is another option to help alleviate some of that scar tissue. But here's the thing. It's really important that not only you understand that it's not a boil, because a boil is what? It's pretty much a wound. Do we want to massage wounds? No. Also, you want to make sure that your piercing is completely healed, because what is an unhealed piercing? A wound. Do we want to massage it? No. And also you need to be able to take the jewelry out to massage the area. One of the reasons that like those little plastic piercing discs can work is because they apply pressure to the scar tissue and that can help shrink it. But let me say it one more time, make sure the area is healed before you try to massage it. Ultimately, no matter which one of these treatments works for you, time is your friend and patience is going to be the key to getting that scar tissue to go away. Now, the last type of piercing bump is the dreaded keloid. These things are rarer than you would be led to believe by like a Google search. Keloids are dark scar tissue that grow way past the piercing point and they don't respond to traditional treatments. You're not going to be able to like wash a keloid with soap and expect it to go away. Most of the time, a keloid isn't going to be as big and crazy as you see when you Google search it. But it is important to know that you are going to need to go into a doctor to get this thing taken care of. When you go into your doctor or dermatologist, they're the ones that are going to be able to recommend which treatment is going to be absolutely the best for you. Most of the time, it's either steroid treatments or even surgical removal. Something to note is that keloids are more common in people with darker skin tones. That all being said, if your piercing bump sounds like this, then go have your doctor check it out. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you know that you're prone to keloids, you probably need to stay away from piercings and tattoos. It's not what you want to hear, but that being said, keloids are more rare than not, so it's probably not what you're dealing with. In summary, there are 3 different kinds of piercing bumps you might be dealing with. You could have a boil, you could be dealing with hypertrophic scarring, or you could be prone to keloids. All of these things are really different and require different treatment options. Most of the time it's a simple fix and it'll go away in a few days. But if your bump isn't responding to treatment, it's always a good idea to have your doctor check it out. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you figure out what's up with your bump. If you have any more questions about bumps, leave those down below. If you have any questions about any piercing stuff, leave it down below. And if you have any video suggestions, definitely leave those down below. Y'all have a good one. See you next time.